Guys, I want to tell you some stuff that might be helpful. Granddaddy, a good guy, real good guy. Um, if he wanted a dentist or a doctor, he didn't have to fight through all the crap you got to fight through to find a good one, and I have to fight through. I got rid of a bad dentist, but I'm just so delighted when I find a good one, and that's true for therapists, that's true for plumbers, that's true for everything. Um, the local former district attorney, Steve Smith, told me about an air conditioning guy who's a one-man show, and the guy drives 60 miles to Sonora and back for Steve's home in Sonora. Um, I've reconnected with Steve through Southwood Baptist Church, um, where he's my friend, although I've left that church, and I'll tell you that story someday if you want to know it. It's really, church is so full of politics. But point being, Granddaddy lived in a world, and Kelly does too, where people are kind of afraid to steer the preacher wrong. So they'll if Granddaddy, where's a good dentist? Or they tell him. He didn't have to fight it out here like you do. The other thing with that is, what made me want to do this video, I'm working with a software called Quantower. It's a trading platform, and it's just as complex as the stuff that in the 90s and probably even the early 2000s, the only people who had this kind of trading platform were George Soros types, the really big types. I have a friend in Miami who had a room full of servers and crap, and he was good at it. Barry Soloway, he was this Jewish guy, a good guy. But now every Tom, Dick, and Harry has this in their garage or their trailer like I do. But you have to know how to navigate stuff that is a pain in the butt. And I'm trying to get this Quantower to work. And I'm telling you this so you'll understand kind of how Debbie was raised and how I was raised and the battles we fought. Debbie was raised where Granddaddy and Mimi spent their whole lives creating warm fuzzies, or the last part of their lives creating warm fuzzies for young people, doing the youth ministry, just like Kelly does. They dance around stuff and try to create warm fuzzies. Debbie thought that was what life was about. Debbie did not understand the frustration of busting your knuckles while you're working on a car. Debbie did not understand any frustration along that line, or along the line of technical stuff working on computer stuff. I'm guessing Marshall's more like me, and he'd rather be outside on a tractor, but to earn a living, he's got to build homes and keep gripey housewives happy, and right? He doesn't just turn to the church and say, now Granddaddy and Kelly and John Mark, they have their share of obstacles that we don't know about. But Debbie was raised in an environment where it looked to her like everything in life was about creating warm fuzzies. Where's my next warm fuzzy coming from? You mean I have to support a man when he's frustrated? My friends and I, we're tired of the men gods who come home. She was never my advocate, ever. She was the advocate of whoever was going to give her a warm fuzzy and make her feel important. But that's not my point here. My point here is as I talk to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT makes all sorts of assumptions and gives me wrong instructions, and I confront them. I say, you just gave me some instructions that are dead wrong. Please stop making assumptions. I'm an engineer, and I follow it by the book and step by step. Give me step by step. See, if I say that to Debbie, what's she do? Blow a gasket, tells me I'm being controlling. Debbie, I'll help you in the kitchen, but I need you to tell me what to do. No, I want you to read my mind. You with me? Didn't understand any of that. Marshall understands step by step, and he understands when it's okay to bend the rules when it doesn't matter. We have in TxDOT, we had a whole book of specifications, And then we had special provisions. Everything's about how do you do it right, but when does it not matter if you do it right? You know, when do you strain out a gnat to swallow a camel, as Jesus said, and when does it not matter? So I'm going through, Chat GPT's giving me all kinds of wrong instructions because they're making assumptions. I'm saying, I've got this version. You're using an old manual. And they go, whoops, you're right. Sorry about that. Yeah, Chat GPT will apologize you when you confront them. Yeah. And so it made me think that I needed to make this video so you could see clergy or kids of clergy are raised in a different world. And even, please don't repeat this, but even the Cargiles, who had 5 girls and 1 boy, they had 4 girls, and then Nancy had twins, and one of them was a boy. That Nancy sent me an email recently. I sent them a notice that a guy at their church died who I knew, because I knew they'd want to know about it, and they were at the ranch and didn't know about it. And I also sent them some charts on worldly stuff. I've even forgot what they were about, but Nancy appreciated it. Oh, I know what it's about. It was about this percent of the Iraqi economy that's based on crude oil exports, and the percent of the Venezuelan economy that's based on crude oil exports. We've got a diverse economy. People making hamburgers and accountants and real estate, and most of these other countries, they're so dependent on one export, they're screwed. And so I sent this chart to Nancy and John, who did not know this and appreciated knowing it, and it showed, bar chart of, the lack of diversity in Iraq, and Kuwait's probably the worst, 99% oil. And Nancy wrote back, and she never writes back, but she did this time. She said some of our daughters were home for Thanksgiving, and we talked about this. And she said they even worked as an assistant on the Committee for Natural Resources. Apparently, some of their daughters in Washington, D.C., working for our representative, most likely. I don't know that, but so point being, it is a complex world, and you were raised by everybody trying to give you warm fuzzies because they knew you had divorced parents and all this stuff. And now you're going, whoa, most likely, right? You got kids who want to play all the time, and you're thinking, wait, you got to learn how to do this stuff nobody else wants to do, like work and study and, right? Right. That's all. I thought that might be helpful, and so I'll go back to chewing Chat GPT's butt out for giving me wrong data. It's good. You can't hurt Chat GPT's feelings at all. Damn it! Quit lying to me? Give me the right instructions. Yeah, tell them that. Go get them. You get it. I bet now.